right, welcome to Haydenfilms Verge, episode number 5. We are here in Albany, New York at Yono's, and we are very excited about today's show. I'm your host, Hayden Crudoff, and my co-host here, Kevin from Taste. Tell our listeners and viewers a little bit about your company and how we met, because I think that's a great story.
It is a pretty cool story. So my name is Kevin Longa, and I film a documentary series called Taste that features the stories of food entrepreneurs around the world. And so we filmed everything from like dictator fighting restaurateurs in Myanmar to Michelin-starred chefs in Europe, cricket farmers in Thailand. And we've also filmed in Indonesia, which is where Chef Yono is from. And we met at the Northeast Filmmakers Lab here in Albany, New York. And we just really hit it off on entrepreneurship, filmmaking, and we really hit it off with Chef Yono about traveling the world and food. And so I'm excited for this conversation.
Exactly. So this is, again, like I said, episode 5. So for all our viewers and listeners out there, please like this episode, share it, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date on all the updates that we have. And most importantly, you'll see right over here on the left-hand side, there's going to be some cards that you can click on for previous episodes and also information about Yono's and of course Taste, and definitely the description below. So Chef Yono, thanks for joining us. Thanks for having us. We really appreciate it.
With all of you guys.
Yes. So let's start out, because I know we enjoyed lunch the other day. We really appreciate the hospitality.
Thank you.
And again, our listeners and viewers have really enjoyed listening to stories from entrepreneurs. And before we get into the stories of the restaurant, tell us a little bit about the history of you potentially leaving this area. And so I thought that was an interesting story. So if you could tell the audience why you were going to leave, and then what made you stay to build what you have here today.
Well, I've been here for probably 17 years, and at the time, economy is really kind of shitty. And I feel like, well, I think start to move around to Florida. And I took a chance with my son, take a look every week, check out the places, and then we found the place in the Del Rey. And then suddenly we just make decision. And then that day, I think Wednesday morning, Time Union cover up whole story about why I'm leaving. And then before that, I think like about 9 o'clock in the morning, the mayor of Albany and Mr. David Sway called me up. Well, I know you'd like to move, but before you move, please talk to us. I have a proposal for you. So I listen and I talk to them, and I sit down with them, have breakfast, and I take a look. It seemed to me like it's kind of a no-brainer. So the next day I talked to my lawyer, I talked to my finance, and he said, take and run. I thought, so that's why I'm staying here.
Awesome.
And what made you decide to take and run? What convinced you?
Because what's happened is when somebody gives you offer that you cannot refuse, how could you? And I'll be part of the action of the hotel, and he give me enough money to build the restaurant, and the rest is I have to put my own. And since then, like, why not? So I have really confident between me, my wife, and my son. We are the family operating.
Oh, that's a fantastic story. So when did that happen? Was that 17 years ago, or was it midway point?
This about 13 years ago.
13 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think in 1906.
Oh, wow.
And what was your vision at the beginning, and how has that evolved over the years in creating your restaurant?
Well, when I graduated from college in 1971, I always think abroad. And my distance...
I mean, you've traveled around the world.
Yeah,
right?
before
So-
that. I went USA, London, and Amsterdam, Holland. So obviously, my dream come true. I work on the cruise ship when I graduate, and then I worked there for 7 years. And I met my wife in 1975, and then we got married in 77, and I have one more contract. So 1978, I left the ship. I resettled in Albany, because she's from Albany. So I'm so lucky that my dream, United States, #1. So here you go. And thanks for people in the United States allow me to be part of the, the daily routine. And I really learned so much in my past 43 years. I get involved so many things, especially with the community. And since 2006, when we have a bad situation in Indonesia, when we have 159,000 people disappear without trace.
Wow.
And people calling me left and right. So I said, why people so care about me and my country? Since then, like, wow, really, I'm really like feel chill, because to me, people care about. So finally, I called all my friends around here, the restaurateur. We thought to do the fundraiser for the Red Cross. So I called Red Cross to be part of the recipient. So we did it in our neighborhood hotel, Hilton, and we raised over $100,000.
Wow, that's good.
$100,000 in a 10 days period.
That's
so
wonderful.
Really awesome. In the meantime, I don't know why, I've been graduate from 1971. Since then, I never back to my college. Coincidence, that year, 1909, the college gave me invitation to speak for the graduation in May.
That must have been a great honor.
Right, and in the meantime, so wow, happened. So in the meantime, I talked to the president of Red Cross, Gary Stra, that I know. Look, I'm going to Indonesia in May, so can you hook me up to where the disaster is, where the Aceh is? So we went there. I get up. I thought I was gonna be a tough guy. I was there in 2 days. I lose everything. I know appetite. I cannot sleep. Everything just between body and just really upsetting. 2 days later, I was a speech in the graduation, and since then, I called my wife, honey, send me $5,000 to start foundation scholarship.
Oh wow, that's a good. I think that's a fantastic segue. So, you're passionate about giving back to the community, and you've gone through the journey. You've opened up the restaurant here. You had the opportunity to actually stay based on the partnerships with the mayor and everything like that. So, how has Yono's impacted the community through like food and your scholarships? How has that been presented to the community? And tell us a little bit more about the foundation.
I think the foundation is born in 1908.
You mean 2008?
2008.
Yes.
I'm sorry. So what's happened is, because I don't have a lot of money, but I have passion, I have time, I have knowledge. So what's happened at that time, I do the fundraiser. Two fundraisers a year. Once in summer, I do the golf tournament.
Okay.
So I invite all my chefs doing cooking in the course. So we have like maybe 18 hole. I get 8 hole food and wine and liquor.
Wow.
So we don't care about the golf. We just drinking and eating.
Exactly. Yeah.
The second part of my fundraiser is we do dinner. We have a 7-course dinner.
And would that be here at the restaurant?
In the restaurant.
Okay.
In the banquet room, and we only take 75 people.
All right.
And we charge normally from 175 to plus if people give extra.
Sure.
And all the profit is go to my foundation. We have 3 schools. 2 in United States is a Schenectady Community College. One is a SUNY Cobblestone, and the other one is a West School that I graduated from.
Wow, that's wonderful. Now, how can our listeners or viewers Do you want to plug your email to get involved, or
Yes,
to be
anyone
part-
get involved or anyone want to be interesting to donate, because we have 510C.
Wonderful.
So all the tax deductible. Please contact me, Chef Yono at AOL.com.
Wonderful, wonderful. And we'll make sure that is in the description and also in the video as well. And so tell us a little bit more about, you know, the specialties of the cuisine. And I know you're going to take over on this in a few
My
seconds.
favorite
Your
part.
favorite part.
Let's actually cheers
Let's
to that.
cheers to
Let's
that.
cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Indeed.
And so what is the specialty in Yono's? Tell us a little bit about the culture and the food, and then of course Kevin will jump in.
When the first time in 1980 when we opened, we have a steakhouse, and then 82, I started introducing my home cooking, because look, I'm Indonesian, my wife Italian, I live in this country, American, and I know American people always hungry for more. They want to get more experience, more different cuisine.
Sure.
So 1 or 2 items that I introduced it, and then more and more. So finally, this second years, we have a half menus, Indonesian, half Indonesian continental. In meantime, we don't even
Well, tell
know.
us, let me jump in real quick if you don't mind. Tell our viewers and our listeners the continental concept.
Yeah.
Continental concept is like more, for example, French, Italian, German, something like that. In the meantime, I twisted with Indonesian ingredient like coconut milk, lemongrass, lime leaf, sambal, and so on and so on. So at the time, we didn't call
Tell me about
fusion.
your foie gras dish. I thought that was a really interesting dish.
Well, just for
that
example,
kinda
we
has
have
that fusion.
we call it opor bebek. Opor means stew, bebek means duck. So in here we have the sauce is we
And this
use-
is a traditional Indonesian dish.
yes, and then we just twist with the put the foie gras.
Yeah, and
in
foie gras
the-
is more of the French
Yeah, okay.
inspired.
Wonderful.
Yeah, you got that. So the stew, a duck stew that's very Indonesian.
Yeah.
But instead of the duck, you use foie
In
gras.
the meantime, we use this breast. We saute it, sear it medium rare, put the foie gras on top, and then the sauce we put the foie gras and then lemongrass, coconut milk, and so on and so on. So it's truly 90% or could be 95% is Indonesian spice and ingredient. The 5% is the foie gras, just adding up the twisted. And I think with that, people like, wow, that is unusual. It's a really perfect method. So with that, so we just stick to it.
So this actually reminds me, I was filming an episode of Taste in Czech Republic, and I filmed with a chef who's from Sri Lanka, and he actually traveled around the world on cruise ships, like yourself, going and cooking across the world. And not only was he deeply influenced by that, but one of his menu items he worked at the Mandarin Oriental in Prague, and he had a gyoza filled with foie gras.
Yeah.
And I wonder, like, especially being in the hospitality industry of cruise ships,
Yep.
you have to have that continental mindset in the back of your mind.
Absolutely.
I wonder if that has influenced your menu to this day.
Of course, because our ship is flagship. We're going around the world every year for January to April, and we stop probably 32 countries every year. So we really love so much. That's why I stay for 7 years. Because to me, you travel, you got paid, somebody cook for you, somebody do laundry for you. Why not? This is the best job ever in my life.
Wow.
That's what he said too, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Favorite
So
job.
I want to segue over, and I see you have some spices. It looks like on the table over there. So tell us a little bit about the Indonesian spices, because I've been doing a lot of research most recently, and we talked about it the other day. And again, just for our listeners and our viewers, the importance of Indonesia's spices, how are they become so renowned across the world, and how do they assist in multiple cultures for those particular spices?
The Indonesian spices, we are the richest producer spices or rempah-rempah in the world. That's why everybody come to Indonesia to pursue that ingredient. Just for example, back in 350 years ago, the Dutch colony, West Indies, went there, and then Vasco da Gama, and then so on and so on. But like everybody in the world come to Indonesia looking for this specific spices
Sure.
that nobody has.
And is there a particular country that is the largest exports of the
I
your
think,
concerts?
I think Indonesia is probably like a quarter producer in the world to the spices
Wow.
from Indonesia.
And that is kind of like part and parcel to the whole idea that you were talking about the other day with me, of like how for centuries Indonesia was colonized and didn't have independence and was owned by the Dutch.
Yeah.
Like just the Dutch just stole your spices.
350 years
Yes.
we under Dutch colony.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we just keep fighting and fighting and fighting. Finally, in 1945, August 17, we declared independent.
Mm-hmm. It goes to show how powerful food can be.
Sure.
That if you own the food, you own the country.
Well, true,
Yeah.
absolutely true. And just to say, until today, our president really realized that how important our cuisine to the world, because to introduce politics it takes time, but with the cuisine and the culture is so fast and so cheap. So just say our government take initiative to promoting Indonesian cuisine through the world, and I'm lucky enough. He appointed me to be culinary ambassador for Indonesia, travel to North America and then South America.
Wow, that's wonderful.
And Asia.
And
Yeah.
Asia. So let me jump in there too. And this question is for either one of you, particularly for the multiple generations that are going out and focusing on travel, cuisine, and in particular with the millennial market. How do you feel the Indonesia cuisine or any other cuisine is being accepted by the millennial market, and how do you see the millennial market engaging these wonderful foods in the 21st century?
Should I take it?
Take it.
Well, yeah, the millennial market is an interesting bunch. I think a lot of us are kind of we're driven by our phones, and our phones are, for better or worse, they do open us up to the world.
Mhm.
And so when you are that super connected, you're able to discover all these new foods. Now that's obvious and goes without saying. Maybe I've taken it a bit further than the average bear, in like now I've actually reached out to these people all across the world and lived in their homes and cooked with them and filmed with them.
Mhm.
And you just get this visceral feeling of, oh, this cuisine is home for somebody. In fact, I had this one meal in Southeast Asia where I ate bonseo. I don't know if you've heard of this.
No,
It's
please,
in
tell
Vietnam. It was in Ben Tre, which is just outside of Ho Chi Minh City, about an hour away in the Mekong Delta. And bonseo is basically like a savory pancake. In fact, it literally translates to sizzling pancake.
Oh wow, that sounds yummy. That
It
sounds
is.
very yummy. So, are you seeing an uptick on millennials now because of their phones traveling to?
I definitely did. I just back from Indonesia to the seminar for gastronomic and culinary for millennials, sponsored by Ministry of Tourism.
Wow.
And we invited probably 7 chefs from all over the world, and I think we succeed because truly, I mean, today with the millennial is kind of this is our market.
Well, yeah, that market is growing. That
Oh my
is the
God.
future, and I think it's that inclusion of all the markets that are going to drive the future of food. I think into the consumption of food, the appreciation of food is really key to tie in a parent, a millennial, a grandparent, and whatnot. And this is where you bring families together from all generations. And so what we're hearing is that the access to technology, mobile stories, and pitching or presenting food in a way that is, I don't want to say palatable, but give us a little bit more of how do you present food in this new world? And I know taste focuses on that, so please.
Yeah, I'm a bit biased, but Hayden, I think you hit the nail on the head about what actually does drive millennials. A lot, like there's plenty of marketing agencies like, how do we catch the millennials? They're not on TV anymore. We can't get them in print ads. They need to be influenced and everything like that. We're just like other human beings, like for centuries. What makes millennials different is a lot of them are very cause-based. They want to believe in something.
Sure.
And so, since the beginning of time, what helps people believe in something is storytelling.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And food is a story. Indonesia's story of food has been, for centuries, oppression and colonization by outside forces, and then now finally they have independence, and they're able to celebrate their diversity and cuisine.
Exactly.
They have all these different islands with all these, like one island's Muslim, so you've got halal, you've got Hindi in Bali, so you can't eat cows. And so you've got all these different stories
Sure.
in just one country, and not let alone all these other countries around the world that have a different story and a different food, and all those foods and stories lead to a mission and a cause that can inspire a millennial.
Exactly. So I know one other thing I wanted to talk about was, I'm sure where these stories are told is in Germany for the annual Super Bowl of chefs. Can you tell us, our audience, a little bit about that and how you the Olympics, the Chef Olympics?
Well, in this, it's not just a sport. The culinary also, we have Olympic every 4 years, always in Germany. Probably past in 62 years. So we are probably about 62 countries, 68 countries every year to compete, grueling for 7 days. And every country has a team, and that team is, of course, try to create everybody food from different location. And fortunately, I have be part of the 1992 Olympic in Germany through the Center of this year. And to me, at the time, 1 week is like grueling, but the most memorable in my life until I die, because you met shoulder to shoulder with the 68 countries, chef different countries, and you just sharing the knowledge, we sharing everything.
Wow.
I think that American really truly is the first American chef sharing knowledge to the world, and also American chef is truly innovative through the world.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And it's because of people like you who've come from different countries
Exactly.
to bring their cuisine and their story.
True. In the meantime, before when you have something, you was guarding.
Yes.
Because I'm afraid that you're gonna take my job. But today, you want to know? Come to me. I'll tell you anything what you
And I
want
think
to know.
that's a perfect way to see food and cuisine continue to evolve and transcend boundaries, because this is a global world now,
Indeed.
and we need to enjoy these foods.
Yeah.
So with that said, we appreciate visiting Yono. So if you are here in Albany, New York, please stop by Yono's and ask for Chef Yono. He's going to make you a special dish. And listen, catch us on the next Haydenfilms Verge episode. Until then, come visit. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.